Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Munatira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 7, the sacrifice performed by Daksha, and we're on text 30. Doesn't seem like the verse is written on the board, huh? Or did he write it on the board? Zach, do you know? You want to check? You want to check to see? 30. Okay. So, does any, you want to share with somebody else some devices or something? No, it's not going to work. They have it. They have one there. It's too long for you. Brigu Uvacha Yanmaya Gahanaya Paritatma bodha. Pramadayas tanubritas tamasi swapantaha. Natman shitam tava vidan yadunapi tattvam. So yam prasidatu bhavan pranatma bandhuhu. Prabhuvacha yanmayaya kahanaya parhitatma bodha. Pramadayas tanubritas tamasi swapatantaha. Oh, it's a Govinda meter? What's the Govinda meter? Can you? Oh, okay. Yan maya yaga hanaya paridatma bodha. Ramadayas tanubritas tamasi swapanta. Natman shitam tava vidan yatu napi tattvam. So yam prasidatu bhavan paranatma bandhu. Prabhuvacha yanmaya yaga hanaya paritatma bodha. Ramadayas tanubritas tamasi swapantaha. Natman shitam tava vidan yadunapi tattvam. So yang prasidatu bhavan paranatma bandhuhu. Prabhuvacha yanmaya yaga hanaya parhitatma bodha. Ramadayas tanubritas tamasi swapantaha. Natman shitam tava vidan yadunapi tattvam. Soham prasidita bhavan paranatma bandhuhu. Keep this chant. Trying to crucify him in my dream. Anyone else? Okay. Bhrigu Vacha. Shri Bhrigu said, Yet, who? Mayaya, by illusory energy. Gahanaya, insurmountable. Apahrita, stolen. Atmabodha, knowledge of the constitutional position. Brahma Adayaha, Lord Brahma, etc. Tanubritaha, embodied living entities. Tamasi, in the darkness of illusion. Supantaha, lying down. Na, not. Atman, in the living entity. Shitam, situated in. Tava, your. Vidanti, understand. Aduna, now. Api, certainly. Tattvam, absolute position. Saha, you. Ayam, this. Prasidatu, be kind. Bhavan, your lordship. Pranata Atma, surrendered soul. Bandhuhu, friend. Translation. Shri Bhrigu said, My dear Lord, all living entities, beginning from the highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to the ordinary ant, are under the influence of the insurmountable spell of illusory energy, and thus they are ignorant of their constitutional position. Everyone believes in the concept of the body, and all are thus submerged in the darkness of illusion. They are actually unable to understand how you live in every living entity as a supersoul, nor can they understand your absolute position. But you are the eternal friend and protector of all surrendered souls. Therefore, please be kind toward us and forgive all our offenses. Purport. Bhrigu Muni was conscious of the scandalous behavior exhibited by each and every one of them, including Brahma and Lord Shiva in the sacrificial ceremony of Daksha. By mentioning Brahma, the chief of all living entities within this material world, he wanted to state that everyone, including also Brahma and Lord Shiva, is under the concept of the body and under the spell of material energy, all but Vishnu. That is the version of Bhrigu. As long as one is under the concept of the body as self, it is very difficult to understand the Supersoul, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Conscious that he was not greater than Brahma, Bhrigu included himself in the list of offenders. Ignorant personalities or conditioned souls have no choice but to accept their precarious condition under material nature. The only remedy is to surrender to Vishnu and always pray to be excused. One should depend only on the causeless mercy of the Lord for deliverance, and not even slightly on one's own strength. That is the perfect position of a Krishna-conscious person. The Lord is everyone's friend, but he is especially friendly to the surrendered soul. The simple process, therefore, is that a conditioned soul should remain surrendered to the Lord, and the Lord will give him all protection to keep him out of the clutches of material contamination. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshulan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karitavachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Diditaninam Vancha Kalpadribhishcha Kripa Siddhibhivcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. Sri Bhrigu said, "My dear Lord, all living entities beginning from the highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to the ordinary ant, are under the influence of the unsurmountable spell of illusory energy, and thus they are ignorant of their constitutional position. Everyone believes in the concept of the body and all are thus submerged in the darkness of illusion. They are actually unable to understand how you live in every living entity as a supersoul, nor can they understand your absolute position. But you are the eternal friend and protector of all surrendered souls. Therefore, please be kind toward us and forgive all our offenses." I'm not sure. There's a saying that sometimes people they like to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner, which means the judge is he's the one who ultimately decides what the punishment of a criminal, what punishment a criminal has to be given. And then the jury, as far as I understand, they are the ones who help decide that, with looking at certain evidence and this and that. They have some say in it. And then there's the executioner. He's the one who kills the person or whatever, takes care of the punishment. So within this material world, which we could see practically that people they like to take all those three roles, whether they're devotees, whether they're non-devotees, whether they're this or that, or they like to take all three roles, and in the sense that they have a lot of confidence in themselves and a lot of faith in themselves and their intelligence in determining the intentions, the mindset, the reasons why people do particular things. In other words, they're quick to make a decision about a particular person or condemn a person based on what they think they know. And that is called being in the mode of passion at best, or in the mode of ignorance. So a person who is governed by the mode of goodness, which Prabhupada explains that all devotees should rise to that mode, and then from that mode, of course, add the practices of Krishna consciousness, and then go to Shuddhasat for the pure stage, right? Pure goodness. So one who's in passion or ignorance, then yeah, they're very quick to jump to conclusions. And that is very dangerous because one is that the individual has too much confidence in themselves, and that ultimately, how can they really know a person's intentions and without investigation and discussing with other people like that. So here we see that Bhrigu Muni is what is it? He's admitting his mistakes. He's not, saying, "Oh, hey, I didn't make a mistake," or "Hey, none of us made it." No, he's admitting his mistakes, and that he was flawed, and others were flawed, and jumping to conclusions. And we see that this is a huge problem, just like Daksha. I mean, originally this whole thing started because Daksha jumped to a conclusion. He wanted to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner of Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva was in trance, right, meditating, and then he didn't stand up, and then Daksha just jumped to conclusion, oh, this person, just see this person. He's not respecting me. He's not seeing my real, who I am. He's offending me. But that is not what he was doing at all. Lord Shiva was in trance. He was meditating. He wasn't offending Daksha. At least he wasn't doing that on purpose. That wasn't his intention. And from this came so much chaos. I mean, Sati, she committed suicide. Lord Shiva sent his boys, or men, more like men, he sent his men to take care of Daksha and start a big war there at the sacrifice. So much issues came about from jumping to conclusions. So yeah, devotees have to be careful. I mean, everybody has to be careful not to unnecessarily jump to conclusions, because factually, as it caused suicide to sati, it would also cause spiritual suicide to devotees. It's like by wanting to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner, completely dictated by the modes of passion and ignorance, a devotee, a person practicing Krishna consciousness, they are skating on thin ice. They are playing with a sharp knife indiscriminately. They are dancing blindfolded next to a cliff. And ultimately, they are playing, that game? I don't know, I guess they call it Russian roulette for some reason. Not exactly sure the origin. You can look it up, the origin of Russian roulette. There's a bullet. There's one bullet. Everybody takes a turn, and then one person gets the bullet. So not only you're not playing Russian roulette with a group of your foolish friends, you're playing Russian roulette with yourself, which means you're sure to get the bullet, without a doubt. So jumping to conclusions, offending people, etc., all that nasty stuff that we have a tendency to do, as at least people who are conditioned souls have a tendency to do. We're playing Russian roulette with ourselves. We're sure to get the bullet. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada stressed over and over and over again, come to the mode of goodness, come to the mode of goodness, come to the mode of goodness. Control your senses, control your mind. And the fact is, unless we associate with people who are controlling their senses, unless we associate with Goswamis, whether they have formally taken that title or not, means persons who internally control their senses, whether they're grihastas or sannyasis or brahmacharis, whoever they may be. If we don't associate with advanced personalities, we will never be able to control our senses, ever. It is an impossibility. And according to Srila Prabhupada, if we can't control our senses, we are doomed. We're going to be waking up, crying, from taking another material birth. So it's, and so much suffering. In other words, we're doomed to rot in this material world for God knows how long, until we learn how to control our senses. So Srila Prabhupada says here, in all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. So Prabhupada says this is the first step. And unless we get this step, we're not going to make any advancement in spiritual life. We may think we're making advancement in spiritual life. We may be doing so much service. We may be doing this. We may be doing that. We may be doing so many things. We may accept so many positions within ISKCON. We may do this. We may do so many things. But until we learn how to control our senses, we're actually not making any advancement in spiritual life. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And he's referring to this, everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, sattva gun, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami and the Nectar of Instruction and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. But if we do not associate with people who know how to control their senses, again, we won't be able to do it. Therefore, we should get the association of advanced devotees as far as possible. And if we don't think anybody's advanced where we are, okay, fine. Then go somewhere else and get their association. regularly. If you think everybody's just a chump and, go DOS and whatever, etc., 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 whatever foul name you want to give them, okay, fine. Go somewhere else then and get their association regularly. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada would say, go to India. Prabhupada said in some places every year. We follow around here every 2 years. You have to do it. And if we don't do it, then we're not gonna make much advancement. And it's not gonna work out. And on a yearly basis, one should go get this association. And again, if it's not around here, then fine. We have to go meet our guru. We have to go meet our shiksha gurus. We got to go somewhere, anywhere, to get that association. It's very important. Because by associating with devotees who we know are advanced, or who are advanced, we'll actually be able to make that progress. So yes, we do make mistakes, but for people who don't try to control their senses, then, by Vedic definition, that is an animal, one who doesn't control their senses. So, to the degree we could get closer to controlling our senses more and more, the closer we are to the human platform. And to the degree people fall away from controlling their senses, to that degree they're more on the animalistic platform. So the idea is that we want to, what to speak of beyond the human platform, we want to be a devotee of Krishna. So therefore we should control our senses. We have to try. And unless we try, then yeah, it's really not going to work out, because the thing is, Krishna consciousness, one of the main reasons why we have to control our senses is because we cannot be scattered-brained. We cannot be scattered-brained, or else nothing gets done. For example, just within our lives, there's so many distractions. It's really a difficult time for people, but for everybody, it's like you're, of course, I'm thinking of Las Vegas. Las Vegas is like the hub, of sinful activity. People they go there to enjoy, everybody knows what people go to Las Vegas for. Luckily, we have a temple there. But it's like somebody who can't control their senses. Yeah, it's like you're walking down that, Vegas Strip, and whatever. For a woman, there's a man, or for a man, there's a woman. Of course, there's the cases of homosexuality too. But and then you got, oh, this food, this drink, that drink. So it's a challenge, and of course, it's not just Vegas. it's here too. Wherever you go, it's all pervading, actually, these distractions. So Prabhupada's making the point that we have to learn how to be one pointed, fixed in our determination. Because scattered brain means it's just, this thing, that thing, so many things are interesting us. And then the one thing that we're really supposed to be interested in is Krishna. That we have a hard time focusing on, because there's so many other things. So again, Prabhupada says here, the only remedy is to surrender to Vishnu, we say Krishna, and always pray to be excused. So, if we commit some mistake, we have to pray. We have to understand, okay, what I've done is wrong. We have to pray to be excused. And it says one should depend only on the causeless mercy of the Lord for deliverance, and not even slightly on one's own strength. Because factually, the only strength we have is coming from Krishna. We cannot go one day, we cannot go 1 minute in Krishna consciousness, or in the association of devotees, without the mercy of Krishna. In other words, if it wasn't for Krishna's mercy, he would just say, "Okay, Maya, here you go. You know, this one's for you." And then we're finished. You know, there's a flood of material desires that enter our consciousness, and we're forced to act on them. So the only reason that flood of material desires is not flooding our consciousness, you know, the dam is still up. There might be water seeping through, but the dam is still up, is because the association of devotees and Krishna's protection. That's the main thing, Krishna's protection. So we always have to remember that it is Krishna's protection, it is not our own strength. Of course, we are not like some religionists or philosophers within particular traditions that say it is only you know, the mercy of God, but we have to show, we have to extend ourselves, put energy into trying to get that mercy. So yeah, Prabhupada says, simple process, therefore, the simple process, therefore, is that a conditioned soul should remain surrendered to the Lord, and the Lord will give him all protection to keep him out of the clutches of material contamination. So, we do not surrender to Krishna directly, but we surrender to the spiritual master. And the spiritual master, there's different gurus, right? There's a Diksha Guru, there's a Shiksha Gurus. And ultimately, on a very, you could say, on a very real platform of Krishna consciousness, devotees are seeing others as their gurus in the sense that anybody could speak through them, the guru could speak through them. So, whatever the case is, the guru is not alone. It has a whole entourage, so we have to surrender to the guru and to others who are with the guru. And this will keep us out of the clutches of material contamination. So yeah, we really have to be careful not to jump to conclusions. And I'll say this personally about myself. I mean, I have no reason to lie to anybody here. I mean, what do I get from lying? First of all, I'm initiated as I'm taking second initiation. It's a vow. It's supposed to be living in the mode of goodness. I have no business lying to any of you about anything. So, in other words, I try to be straightforward in my dealings, and you know, if I feel a particular way, I'll say it. You know, and I'm not scared of, you know, telling people how I feel or hiding certain things, or, you know, so it's so in other words, if somebody is thinking how they're you know, coming to conclusion how I'm thinking, well, why don't you just ask me? I'll tell you how I'm thinking, rather than just speculating. So just on a personal note. So anyways, the point is we should be very careful in general with everybody, or else it just causes havoc, like this whole thing, suicide and this and that, so many problems. So. All right, so does anyone have any questions? Or yes, Zach, you're quick to raise your hand, fast hand.
You're saying the spiritual master can speak through others, but is that when the spiritual master leaves, or that's also when the spiritual master is present?
Sounds like you want Rajendrananda Prabhu to answer this, because I see you giving a sidelong glance to him, which is fine with me. You could. No, you can. I was trying to get out of it. No, well, it's referring, as far as I understand, it's referring not just when the guru goes, because if you're just dependent on when the guru goes, like physically from this plane, I mean, what if your guru's around for, you know, another 70 years or something? That mean no one could speak to, you know, your guru can't speak with through anybody? Because the whole point is that we're supposed to take inspiration from others, and we should see it as coming from our spiritual master. So it's not just that when the guru goes. So that's one thing. I mean, it's a big subject, the guru subject, right? Everybody loves the guru subject. I mean, there's a nice quote from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I haven't memorized it, but in essence, it's saying that because at one point Bhaktivinoda Thakur left, and then Gorgashoras Babaji left, and then he said that if I do not understand or see that my guru is speaking through many different personalities, then I'll be completely lost. And so, in other words, he's saying that I see my guru speaking through many personalities, guiding me. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the idea. So, and that's a good big platform because, this idea that it's just my guru. I'm not going to listen to anybody else. It's like. It's just not. It's not the philosophy. It's just. It's a distortion of the philosophy. It means we don't actually understand the philosophy, or we don't have realization of it. So we have to have realization, by chanting Hare Krishna, by purifying our consciousness, that the guru could speak through anybody if he wants, and he does. That's the point. Yes, Ryan.
And also, we have to understand. What is Guru Tattva according to Gaudiya Vaishnavism? And according to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, we place more emphasis often on Shiksha, Guru, and discipleship, as you note on the altar.
Yeah.
So Guru doesn't just mean Diksha Guru, and in fact, in many cases, your primary Guru can actually not be your Diksha Guru, and in fact, in ISKCON, in most cases, your primary day-to-day guide isn't probably not going to be your Diksha Guru.
Yeah.
And so therefore your local Shiksha Gurus are actually going to play a much more important role in your life as far as guiding you than your actual Diksha Guru in modern day ISKCON.
Yeah, that's true.
In most cases. And also sometimes someone will say something to us and we'll be like, oh, this is Super Soul or Guru speaking through them to me. Now I don't think, just to give random names, I don't think Deva Amrita Swami can enter into somebody's consciousness or whoever, and then like control their mind and like force them to say something to you. Like they're fully conscious of all that. My understanding is, because ultimately when we say Guru, we ultimately mean Lord Balaram, who's the Adi Guru, the primary Guru. So when Guru is speaking through us, or when speaking through other people to us, I think it's actually more Balaram that's directing their words to you in a certain way. But, I mean, that would be my understanding. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there are some spiritual masters that are powerful enough to take over people's minds and force them to say things to you. But that's kind of my understanding. But we can see everything as the mercy of our specific Guru, because even if it's Lord Balaram who's actually directing somebody to say something to you and not specifically your Guru, you can still see it as the mercy of your Guru, because it could be because of the desire, the intense desire of your Guru to see you get purified. Then Lord Balaram is making specific arrangements and having people say specific things to you because of the mercy of your Guru. So that's kind of my understanding of how it all works.
Yeah, we see the Shiksha, right? Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gorgashodas Babaji. Wasn't Diksha.
The same kind of thought when you were saying that we can't surrender to Krishna personally, but to the spiritual master. The spiritual master is simply the representation of Krishna. Bhaktarayans being specific, saying Balaram, Krishna Balaram, same thing. But yeah, that's the absolute understanding of the Guru as one. There is nothing but the guidance, the shelter, and the instructions of Krishna and his Gurus. Just manifest in so many ways, and some of us understand that and some of us don't. So if Krishna in the heart is directing everything, then wherever there's desire on the part of the devotees, then he is more than willing to reciprocate, and out of affection of the devotees who are getting the mercy, then they ascribe it to the one who they are indebted to or who they are most attached to. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he got the instruction to take sannyas, he said, "So my godbrother," no, actually my spiritual master through my godbrother, he said, "Yes, you must take sannyas." So that's a matter of affection. You have the tattva where we try to intellectually understand these things, but also in terms of the rasa or the affection. And it's very common that the devotee will always be thinking of the person that he is eternally indebted to. So I think you encouraged some nice thoughts in this regard on these topics. Thank you. Thank you, Bhakti Ryan. Thank you, Bhakti Zan.
Sure. Yeah, there's a wonderful, there's a wonderful, Prabhupada wrote at the very end of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the conclusion of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think concluding words, I think it's called, and he talks about the Guru there. It's very wonderful. So you could read it. It's nice. So, all right. Yes. Neil. Neil, that name is actually Vedic. We looked it up.
Like from the beginning.
Really? It meant something else. We looked it up. It's coming like from Vedic. Anyways, I forgot.
From the beginning, where you wore the pink hot garment, and from the reading of the text 30, where it talks about by the minimal illusion, even to a little ant. So if we do observe the ants, there's actually one queen. As far as it is an ant, physical form. Well, yeah, ants.
I think you have to hold a little closer.
Oh, all right. Ants in their natural behavior have one queen, and there's so many men ants.
Yeah.
As you were wearing pink garment. So, we kind of forget we see the illusionary of like different animals in the physical form, but we do observe on their actions also. And it kind of relates to how we are in illusion, but at the same time, we could draw the connection as to things, how things are in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah, we could learn. Everything you could connect with Krishna consciousness. You could see it from a Krishna conscious perspective. Yeah, it's interesting. The queen ant, right? She's in charge. Yes.
I found interesting purport where Srila Prabhupada says this is the version of Bhrigu. So he's saying everybody, Brahma and Shiva, down to the ant, are in the bodily concept of life. So Prabhupada, you could see some implication in that. Well, that's his opinion. He's such an exalted personality, his opinions get put in the srimadbhagavatam, but Srila Prabhupada does put some balance to it. Sometimes the pure devotees say like that. And they repeat the same words that Bhrigu says. But there's also the other side, like we heard, Lord Shiva speaking yesterday. He's not in the bodily concept of life. So.
Yeah.
So in Krishna consciousness, there's a lot of room for individuality and different realizations of the absolute truth. And sometimes in Kali Yuga, neophytes tend to think, oh, I've staked out the real understanding, whereas it's such a broad, Krishna consciousness so broad that sometimes there's room for all the different angles.
Yeah, there's so many angles of vision. Yeah, it's amazing. Right, Jai. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Controlling the mind and senses ki Jai.